Welcome to Overtime, the podcast. Overtime is a podcast dedicated to all things watches, particularly in the Microbrand and affordable range. I'm Praka, and this is my co-host, Justin.
We are two watch enthusiasts based out of Perth, Western Australia. Join us as we discuss our thoughts on new releases, share our personal experiences, and offer our insights on building a collection.
Whether you're a seasoned enthusiast or just starting your journey, Overtime will keep you entertained with informative insights and casual conversations.
Let's get started.
We've made it this far. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. It's Friday. How about yourself?
Same here, man. Thank God it's Friday. Yep, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good question. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking. Yeah. I am actually drinking a Bolter Easy Hazy.
Okay.
It's an IPA, hazy pale ale. Actually, not an IPA, and hazy pale ale. That's I'm pretty sure this is a local brew as well. Oh no, it's not actually. I lie. It's Queensland. It's not bad.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, have you had it before?
Yeah, cool. No. Actually, I haven't really had much alcohol in the past 3 years. So
Yeah.
I decided to get fit. I decided to put that down, focus on
Yeah.
footy and stuff. So I haven't. But if I do have a drink, it's usually a scotch or a whiskey if I can.
You're a better man than me.
It took a lot.
No, that's good. That's awesome. Good to hear. I'm very occasional, so just here and there. I sometimes enjoy it, so I'm for it. Look, before we start off today's episode, we'll get into the topics if you want. Let's just do what we always do. What's on your wrist, man?
Yeah, so I guess today, we're in this was weird because it's a second week in a row for an NWA, second Seiko as well. Last week was the Paddy Turtle, but yeah, at the price I got it, I couldn't say no. So yeah, I got the Speedtimer today. So
Beautiful.
the reference for this one's Seiko Speedtimer SSC 917. So it is they call it night vision. Never touched one of these before. Never tried on the white or the black or the blue sand. They've never come into my thought process until I seen it in a window today, and when I tried it on, and got that kind of Seiko case magic, and really looked at the contrast between dial, white seconds hand, the whatever they call it, it's like a seafoam green, in the indices, and hour and minutes hand, and that white seconds. I was happy. I went in for something else and walked out with this. So very happy.
That's a fantastic NWA. It's nice. I'm really into these blacked out versions of watches. I don't know if I can pull it off sometimes, but this is fantastic, and I've actually tried on another variant of this. I think I tried the Panda, or the sort of Panda dial of this, and the case is fantastic. Okay, it's a what,
it's so good.
39, 38, and it just way there.
39, it sits perfect on the wrist. The lugs kind of just start to hug. Like for my size wrist, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head again what it is, but it sits absolutely perfectly. And my experience with, I wouldn't say all, but a lot of Seiko bracelets, they're very noisy. Whereas this is quite quiet.
And it's definitely a step up from the Seiko 5 range, in terms of the bracelet wise, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's awesome.
Yeah, and as much as there's a lot going on, it's still quite simple. But there's definitely depth to the dial that I've never appreciated in seeing photos online before, where in person I was kind of like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, like you say, it's got a lot going on, yet still simple. And that's the beauty of chronographs, right? When you do it right, it looks going to look good.
Yeah, this kind of fills a gap. I've kind of wanted to get into the that healthy all black look. At the Seiko 5 is what I was looking at, but it never really appealed. And then seeing this in person just got me in. And also only having the Moon Swatch as a chronograph in my collection, it's good to have something in there. So
nice, beautiful.
What about yourself? What's on your list for Friday?
Today I was out in the field all day, meaning I wasn't working. I was out. I had a day with my kids today, and while the wife was working, so I wore my Hamilton Khaki field mechanical 38 mil in the white dial. I was set to say about this, just a clean, simple field watch. Hamilton's, classic. They know how to make field watches. In fact, I think that's the only Hamilton that I've ever caught my eye, which is the field watches. And it's one of the only manual wind in my collection,
Yep.
which is just great. You get that beautiful tactile feel, like just that more hand wind. Yeah, it's nice to have automatic. Obviously, it's a lot easier, but having a manual wind, it just feels a bit different.
Yeah, and the crisp white dial against the NATO that you got on it as well. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, and yeah, the NATO is I think it's a cheapest NATO straps, like a khaki green, khaki. Yes, it's
Yep.
very matches the loom quite well, and it
Yep.
also just goes with the whole field watch aesthetic. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. And definitely good for the park with the kids.
that's it. That's
Perfect.
it. Very, very, yeah, beat blasted finish. You're walking through brush, or
Yep.
whatever twigs. You're not going to get it scratched up, and or even if you do, can't really tell. So it's good.
Yeah, speaking of Hamilton, actually, the other night I watched Interstellar for the first time in a long time and
Oh,
forgot how good that movie is.
oh my God. Don't
So good.
Interstellar's like it's in my all-time greatest films. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, out of all the watches in Interstellar, which off the top of my head is Cooper's khaki field pilot, and that's like the
Yep.
42 mil aviator pilot sort of watch, and then you've got the Murph as well, which was yeah, also which one of those was your favorite?
Um, I don't know, like, so I've never owned Hamilton, or I've actually never even handled one,
Mm,
to be honest with you.
sure,
But just
sure,
by going on it, the Murph would be my third one out of
sure.
them there in that movie. But I kind of hadn't seen that in so long. I forgot the tie-in to the ending of that movie and the watch and how it played the part. At the end with the
Yeah,
seconds
the
ticking over, and
seconds
I
ticking.
forgot about
Yeah.
it. And like coming back to that movie, I don't know when was the last time I watched it, but that little Easter egg now that I'm kind of deeper in collecting was just like a bit of a
Yeah,
this is so cool.
it's awesome. I love I think this again, we should definitely do like a movie
Yep.
X watch episode. We'll definitely keep that. But yeah, Interstellar is one of my favorites. I
Yeah.
sometimes have to work away, and it just seems to be a movie that I rewatch all the time when I go away. Don't know why.
Yep.
And yeah, keep it handy on my phone. Have a and yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an epic movie to rewatch. Cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, awesome. Wow, that's nice. Hamilton, they're the leaders of putting watches into movies. So definitely props to them there. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, I
definitely.
guess I guess we'll get into today's episode, hey? And really I guess the main topic of today's episode, it's not the only topic, but the primary topic I want to talk about is what if Seiko decides to pull an ETA? So what do I mean by that? Famously, many years ago now, ETA decided, or ETA decided that they were not going to supply movements to third party. So anyone outside of the Swatch group was not going to get movements. And this was huge because many other companies out there used ETA movement. In fact, some of them I think somehow still can, but mostly no. So that really changed the landscape on how some of these other brands sourced movements. And not every brand is like your Seikos or your Rolexes or whatever they have in fully integrated company where they produce everything basically in-house.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of them have to go to different things, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, for me anyway, I think it's if a company does this well and they know that they can't do this well, they go to someone who does it well, which is better with the movements. So what if Seiko decides to do that? As you know, Seiko, what does Seiko do? They supply almost what 90% of micro brands out there. I mean,
if not more. Yep.
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
the NH35 is definitely the backbone of micro industry, in my opinion.
Yeah, bang on. So that's really what I wanted to discuss today. And before I jump into it a little bit more on some of the notes that I have, Justin, what are your thoughts? What are your opening thoughts?
Yeah, well, one of the interesting things about this, for myself right now, a little bit of a relatable topic.
Mm,
Like the company I work for has recently gone through a huge supply chain kind of distribution on one side has stopped, and we had a 6 week time to kind of get up and running with a new one. And you understand there's going to be teething issues. It's going to be difficult and learning process and whatnot. Yeah, in the position I'm in these days, the amount of problems and issues with the whole thing is phenomenal. Kind of imagine what these, the third party companies went through buying, who were relying on ETAs. First up, the amount of issues that immediately come to these companies, just on paper, dot point, that's what we did. We dot pointed everything we could and thought, how do we combat this? But it was just felt like a never ending list, a complete domino and snowball effect, really. So I guess that's the first thing, like in terms of not starting to think about the consumer, but thinking about the the actual brands out there, the immediate ramifications. Like it's the big what's next, what if, a lot of moving parts, a lot's going on. I feel for brands that did rely on ETA and had the pin pulled, an enjoyable process. There's pros and cons. There's a couple of ways you look at it, and I think I don't know. What do you want to start on? Pros or cons? What should we kick off with?
Look, I'm gonna go with the con because look, I mean, just looking at just going back to the ETA, right? ETA at the time when they decided to pull the pin, it was 2019, 2020. They were producing about nearly a million
crazy numbers,
a million ETA movements for outside of the Swatch Group. So we're talking about a million watches potentially right now. Gone. I can't supply anymore because I don't have the movements.
Production.
Yeah. And it was, like I guess the saving grace was the S.r.l who came in who basically said, well, we produce good movements, we pretty much produce ETA clones anyway, or what it started off as anyway, and we'll come in and we'll fill in that gap. So that void potentially would be closed out by another company. But I guess the difference is a lot of the companies that relied on the ETA movements weren't necessarily micro brands. They were still established brands.
Yeah.
Whereas Seiko and NH, what they supply, Seiko Epson, they supply micro brands, and micro brands don't necessarily have the capital nor the they just don't have the money behind them as much as some of these traditional brands to be able to just go out and go, oh, sorry, I got to go and get a different movement now, and I got to go and source that out with different things. So I mean, I definitely think it's a negative, and it could change the micro brand space massively. I don't see Miyota all of a sudden trying to match production to fill in the gap. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, well, I think it's like I guess to not play devil's advocate, but to sit on the fence a little bit, it provides opportunity for a step up of not immediate opportunity by any means. It's not going to happen overnight, but a bit of a step up for companies to do in-house. Because if it's happened once with ETA, and this is my kind of forefront of my thinking with my work stuff going on, what if it happens again? Like we're going to put all this effort into new suppliers and put all our eggs in one basket again? Is that the plan? Because I can definitely tell you that's not what I'm doing. So I think one of the cooler things about it is that whole do these brands start putting a bit of effort into in-house and start thinking, they put out like a 5, 10, and 15-year plan into place. And I think for myself now, in where I'm collecting, like I would prefer to spend on an in-house these days. Like I appreciate movements more than I did when I first started collecting, and if the option was there, for like Oris, for example, like they got the caliber 400. And I'd say more when I go back and buy another Aquas or something, I'd definitely opt for the 400. So I think the opportunity to kind of bring some stuff in-house and start some innovation and move in different directions is one of the bigger pros of the situation. But again, not overnight, not an immediate fix. Like
it will still have a big impact in the short term, or at least in the couple of years anyway. So I think I definitely agree in the sense that you'd probably encourage more people, but there's also downsides in that. Your micro brands traditionally are very attractive because they offer great designs, sometimes different designs, sometimes similar designs, but at a very attractive price points. And the value, so the value proposition of micro brands might not be there, is my second con. And I just think if you're going to go into all that effort into in-house production and or trying to source, maybe for example, Zelos starts putting in S.r.l movements in every watch they put out. So right now, Zelos is what, 500 USD, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
the value proposition definitely swings the other direction
Yeah,
pretty
and
quickly.
automatically, you're talking about Solida movements compared to NH movements. I think, an NH movement, just again, don't quote me. It's about $30, $40 or something for the sort
Yeah,
of basic movements. And the Solida is a little bit more than that. I think it's like 50, 60, something like that. So
yep.
so you're again, you're already there. You've increased that, and then you're talking about, like you say, supply chain, right? So you got your logistics, which is from, you got your cost for where it's coming from. You're all of a sudden you're maybe you might have to redesign your case because your movements might not fit. So, and then you've got to
Yeah,
change the dies. The manufacturer that actually makes your case will have to change the dies, and the cost of those dies or whatever it is. It's just
that's that domino effect. Yeah, it
that's it.
just it's such a bigger picture other than just like get a new movement and put it in like that.
Yeah,
Especially if you're pretty established brand who's got some design cues and features that are unique to yourself. Like you
yes,
can't just be dropping stuff at the change of the hat. If you do, it's got to still stick in
yeah,
your wheelhouse of what your kind of design language is.
exactly. So I think
It's
yeah,
an interesting thing though. Like thinking, let's say company, Seiko pulls the pin, X company's using NH35, and now we've got to go to Solita. I think it's an interesting comparison anyway from my point of view. And what happens in my brain is at the moment that's kind of not similar in terms of what's that, but what it is. But everything's getting more expensive at the moment. And I don't
yeah,
know about yourself, but like there's stuff that I necessarily don't need or
yeah,
ever want.
sure,
And you pay the price. Like what do you do? Like if I want the watch, it's going to cost me an extra $50.
yes, yes,
It's not going to make me want it any less. I might be a little
yeah,
bit more salty about it, but I think it's quite similar as well to Seiko just upping the price of their standard
yeah,
watches with an 4R36 in it and going, not getting anything more, but
yeah.
we're going to go up in price. People are still paying retail for those pieces.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. And you're right? Because it's not like a watch is not like your loaf of bread or milk that you need, to feed yourself and feed your family. It's a what's a like a what do they call it? Like a Veblen good, right? I mean, it's a luxury product.
Yeah,
No matter what, doesn't matter if it's a Timex or if it's a Hamilton or if it's if it's a Grand Seiko, they all tell the time.
at the end of
So
the day,
yeah,
we're all paying a monthly bill for a phone that's worth about 2 grand.
yes,
That
that tell
tells
the
the
time.
time pretty accurately, and
Exactly.
it's always on you.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah. So
definitely a
yeah.
want opposed to a need. Interesting. I don't think like as much as it would be I'm going to call it a minor like hit to the consumer.
Mm,
I think you wouldn't see too much change in the
sure.
market or the space in terms of the end result. I mean, the
Sure.
obviously the brands are going to take a hit and have to get stuff up and running, and they're probably going to
Mm,
be moments of pause and downtime. But I think at the end of the day, firing back up, like, or if Zelos is going to use this movement instead of that, I'm not there for the movement in the first place. I'm there for
you
the
fit the
dial, the case
design.
design,
Yeah. Yep.
everything else. And I feel like I'm
Mm,
still getting my money's worth, even if they put that up to, the swordfish I've got. If they put another $100 on that, I would have paid
yep.
easily more than that as well.
Yep. No,
So
you know
if
what? You're bang on correct. And really, I think maybe I was being a bit disingenuous by going straight to Salida. You've got your Miota 9 series. You've got,
yeah,
you've got even your Chinese movements that are getting better and better. You got your PT5000s. You got
yep.
your Hangzhou movements. I mean, many microbrands already use them nowadays, like Baltic and Seiko and stuff. I think do Seiko use PT5000? Maybe not, but a lot of these brands already use them, and seagull movements as well. Studio
Yeah, look,
Underdog.
it's a
Yeah,
company like Miyota, like your citizen owned, would
mm.
be licking their lips at that hole in the market and
Yeah,
just going like they've probably got the means to ramp up production to a
yeah,
level that could maybe not compensate it as a whole, but at least fill a huge void and work towards making the rest eventually.
yes.
And for whoever would pick up that gap if this was to happen, would make a killing in the market.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If I don't think this is ever going to happen by any means, but
No,
if it
definitely
did,
not.
yeah, what a missed opportunity that would be.
I think Seiko will be absolutely shooting themselves in the foot
Yeah.
if they decided that they were gonna do what ETA doing. But in saying that, look, ETA did what they did because they're owned by the Swatch Group, and the Swatch Group owns many brands, so they wanted to secure the movements for all their different brands. So it's a different situation.
Yeah, well, here's another question on the back of this. Like, let's
Yeah,
say
go.
Seiko does pull the pin and now
Mm,
moving away from the thought of micro brands using something different
sure.
and the consumer being us. So they start using or R36 and H35, whatever it is, only
Yeah.
for like a product.
Mm,
How do you think their business model and profits go forward? Like, do you reckon they still make, I think they still make incredible margins on
yeah.
the
Yeah.
sale of, their own watches at retail. I don't,
Mm.
obviously it'll take a hit to their financial year makings or earnings, but I do think that company runs pretty easily.
Sure, it's definitely going to hit their, it's definitely going to hit their revenue. I mean, and Seiko Epson Corporation, which is the large,
Like the
they're
umbrella of it all. Yep.
the umbrella, right? They're no small, they're not a small fish. Like last year they had a revenue of 2022. I think they had a revenue of 361 billion yen, which is what year on year, yeah. 361 billion yen. Look, I'm not a yen guy, so I won't be able to tell you what that is off the top of my head. But you're looking at 3.9 billion dollars in Aussie dollars in revenue, right? It's almost
Huge.
four Aussie dollars, yeah, 4 Aussie billion dollars in revenue in Seiko Option Corporation.
Huge.
And if we're just for argument's sake, if we're just you just want to check Rolex's you know revenue in 2022. I think they had about you're talking in something like, I think there were 8 billion or 9 billion or something,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit more, because that's US. So say 10 billion. You're not really, it's not exactly far off when you really think about the grand scale. If you think about the entire umbrella of what they
Yeah.
selling, they're talking about the $100 watches that you get at Prouds to
Yep.
your other ends as well,
Yep.
and the range that they cover. Will that impact their bottom line? Yes. Will it impact significantly? Probably not. They might just start pumping out more sub brands. Like they do own Orient, they own Alba,
Yeah.
they own Pulsar. They maybe they'll start more sub brands and start spinning it off and start throwing their movements in there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess on the back of that, another question for you: like, if
Hmm.
if Seiko pull that, do you think people like obviously there's going to be a huge market out there, not just brands themselves, but there's the modding community as well who take a huge hit
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Do you reckon that encourages people to buy? Because Seiko's got the cult following. Do you reckon people
Yes.
then want to buy more Seiko, or do you reckon they steer away from it? Because I don't, I feel like Seiko's got obviously the strongest backing in the watch
Yes.
community. People are nuts for it. It's like a cult.
Yes.
Like I love them, you love them.
Yes.
Huge fanboy of the brand. I don't know because personally, like if a micro did it off the blue and said, we're no longer doing this, we're going to this, and made a huge price hike, you could definitely say they'd take a reasonable hit to
Yep.
consumption. But
Yep.
I feel
Yep.
like Seiko would almost benefit
Ye-
from it in a way, like they get more
Yeah. More
in-house
business.
buying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're probably right, and I think it's a section of the community. I think a section of the community would shun it. I reckon they'll be like, no, I'm not gonna buy Seiko because I actually wanted XYZ. I just don't really care for the movement. I really like the look of the watch, like you just said. You don't really care for the movement. I
yeah,
don't go. But then a big part of the community, like Seiko fanboys, okay, me and a few other people, many other
yeah.
people, would probably continue to buy Seiko, and in fact probably buy it more than they do now. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
because there's definitely a
agree.
lot of dial design that's very unique to Seiko, especially in that divers range and the state of the
Yes.
ocean range. There's so much that's just unique to there. Like you don't see too many other brands chucking shark fins and manta rays. Like that
No.
stuff sings out to people.
Yep.
It's like the state of the ocean line itself has people who would buy
Yep.
that stuff solely because it's got that state of the ocean attachment to
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. It's huge,
I
and
think
the amount of just speaking dials, the amount of history, or not so much history, like how many other brands have used that model, you know, of awesome
yeah.
dials to sell their pieces is it's yeah. I think they do it so well. So I agree.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like you can take just your plain blue paddy dial like I've got,
Yeah.
very simple, but not in a turtle case in any other brand, and that's what I bought it for was that
Yeah.
turtle case. is the huge plus. The way it wears, like it's unique to the brand. Like going back to Zelos, like I've had the Hammerhead and it's a big watch. It's heavy, but it does not wear like the Turtle. Nothing does.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't happen. Don't say. I'll say this. I say this is the discussion topic, but I hope it doesn't happen. So no, I think we really explored some great great little offshoots there as well as part of the main topic. And what do you guys think, the listeners? I want to know. And if you do have any questions, or if you want us to do any follow up on that, hit us up. And like we're gonna put some stuff in the show notes and where you guys can contact us. And yeah, I think that's a perfect segue to our second topic.
Yeah, I'll kick this. So here in Perth, I don't know if you've noticed it like I have, but it's just got freezing cold
Yes.
at the drop of a hat. We had I don't know
Both
about
wearing
yours.
jumpers.
Yeah. I've been in a hoodie for a week. I haven't taken a hoodie off apart from work. And yeah, I don't know about where you are in Perth, but we got 38 mil of rain the other day, and it was
Yeah.
straight to flooding. I see one car actually stuck in some water. So winter is
Oh,
definitely
geez. Yes. Yeah.
I think the idea of this one, drop of a hat, you got 2.5K to spend, 2.5 Aussie dollars to spend. Free watch winter collection, and I'm not sticking to get have your diver, your dress, whatever. Like it's just what is a cool 3 watch collection, and I've gone with stuff I don't own.
Interesting.
This stuff has been stuff I've kind of looked at before, been on the radar, but never really jumped on. Maybe not. I felt as passionately as I need to buy one, but
Okay.
yeah, so I guess kicking it off on the back
Yeah.
of a big Seiko discussion as well. So the first one I chose was it's Seiko Save the Ocean, so SRPG 9K, which is a tuner, and it's I've had this dial before, so the technicality there. I had it in the Monster case.
And the Antarctica.
Yeah, I really enjoy the actual dial. Like when you spin the get the right flash of light, and you can really see the depth in the penguin. I think the penguin feet. And you kind of see that real white to blue fade in the dial. It's actually beautiful. I really like that wash. It was just the Monster slightly too big and heavy for me actually. But I feel like this here feels like winter. Obviously with Antarctica, we're obviously not as cold in Perth as down there. But just the white band, stainless steel case, the white bezel, or stainless steel bezel. I've got to show that. And just the whole frozen effect on the dial. I think that's winter.
Perfect winter watch. It's like that little feet, like happy feet, right?
Yeah, happy feet. Yep.
Happy
and
the
at
dial.
$537 on Starbuy, like pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's a great deal. And yeah, I mean these are what ISO rated 200 meters water resistance.
Yeah, 200 meters. Yep.
Yep. You got your screw down crown and lug to lug of 44 mil. I mean, it's tuners. It's one of those watches, right? It's almost perfect circle, barely lugs.
Yep.
So
it's
tuner can. Yeah, I mean, 44 mil lug to lug is going to fit pretty much everyone, and it's going to wear really well. It's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic pick for winter dial, and that there's indices as well. They're just so the polar effect, doesn't it?
It all contrasts really well, yeah. And yeah, for the idea of this one is like, my kids, it doesn't matter if it's hail, rain, giant, we are at the park, we are at the skate park. The water resistance will be needed. And it needs to be comfortable.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Next one, the idea. So this one here has been, again, like I said last week on a different watch, sitting in my cart for a long time. And the idea behind this one is I'm going out for a dinner. You're wearing a nice jacket, getting your dress shirt on. I went the Brew metric gold,
nice.
the all gold with the black face, and they just released the champagne. I don't know if it's actually champagne, but I think the idea is. Yeah, I think this one here, the case thickness 10.75 mil, going to slip under a sleeve really nicely. When you're sitting and eating dinner, it's going to flash out of a nice black coat, even a black hoodie cuff, real nicely. So that was the idea there. And I bought a Seiko 5 recently with a bit of gold on it to attempt a bit of gold, because I don't know if I can pull it off. I wear like a gold chain, I wear a gold bracelet, but I think a watch is that next level of that's a lot of gold. But black and gold works incredibly well.
Works. Yep.
Stunning watch, and their Instagram is very good at tempting people.
Yeah,
it gets me when I see them share stories post.
They are definitely good at producing photographs that are not 3D generated, flat, look absolute rubbish. I'm looking at you, Seiko Citizen, well, pretty much any big name brand, any big name brand, don't know how to advertise a watch properly. But oh man, what a pick! this watch has been in my radar actually, funnily as well. I think we spoke about this before.
Yeah.
That the other colorway, which is the 4PVD, the
Yep.
Porsche design kind of look. What can I say about this? It's just a classic retro design, and I love brew. I love coffee. Coffee's like one of my
So that was the biggest tie. That
biggest
was going to be my
things.
segue to my next one was
Is
the
it?
coffee. Yeah, warm coffee. It's the first thing I do. It's the plan for
Yeah.
tomorrow morning. Get to work, warm coffee.
Yep.
Definitely a tie into the personal
Yeah.
addiction. Yes, that would be the pick there. And I guess I'll lead the coffee chat into the next one. So this is
Yeah.
one that I really, really like the look of, but I don't think would ever buy. And it's a out of order. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Oh, I have actually. Yep. Yep.
I'd never heard of these until like maybe about 6 months ago, and they keep popping up on my kind of Instagram.
Okay.
And I think they're actually quite nice. I've been through the design catalog a few times. I think they're all really nice. But it is the Irish Coffee Automatic GMT. Now,
Okay.
I don't know. I find this sort of hideous, but at the same time, sort of amazing. Like I don't know what it is with this one. The dial and bezel is definitely like it's just 100% coffee. Where like the brew has the coffee bean. It's got a nod to the industry. This looks like coffee. It's kind of got that gradient dial where it's the bottom end of the coffee. If you buy one of those, I don't know what they're called, those lattes that are all separate,
Yeah,
and milk
yeah,
sitting above the coffee,
Yep.
and then your froth is up there. It's a different color. That's
Yeah.
on this. That's this dial.
Yeah.
I think it's hideous but cool. And on that strap,
Yeah.
and I think we touched on it last week when we talked about the Formex with the strap stitching.
Yes.
Strap stitching here matches the
Yes, the
dial and
cream
bezel
indices
so
and the
well.
cream dial. Oh yeah, that's great. You know what? As ugly as it is, and a sort of like a root beer kind of dial as well. Like
Yeah,
have you ever
yeah.
had a root beer float when you have the ice cream on top? That
Yep,
kind of what it
yep.
reminds me of.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of got that foamy up
Correct.
top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the foamy sort of ice cream on top, and the bezel, which is it's like almost like a domed bezel or something. It's not flat, is it? It's sits up just it's got a bit of a curve on it, so adds to the coffee foam on top sort of look.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's super simple, but there's depth to it. There's definitely levels to this watch, and I think they could definitely do it. It'd be tricky, but if that had a color matching date wheel,
Yes.
this would be like an absolute winner for me. And
Yep.
I don't know, the whole damaged in Italy, like I didn't know about this brand until recently, and
Yeah.
it's just. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of buying something that's old, but
Yep.
I don't like the actual thought about buying something that's old, but I like the idea of it on screen and on paper. But
Yeah.
yeah, for this, like rocking this in a hoodie.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you can wear this with literally anything. This is the park watch as well. It's got 300 meters of water resist attached to it.
GMT.
Yeah, not
just
much
because.
Yeah, GMT just because I might need a trip somewhere in winter. Who knows? Probably not
Yeah.
with toddlers, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is just like a real weird,
I like it.
out of left field kind of ballpark pick, but it's one
I
that's
like
popped
it.
up constantly. And I've thought about what would I wear this with, and hoodies,
Yeah.
jackets.
That's a fantastic pick. That's I would not have picked that, but I like it. It's out there, definitely out there.
Yeah, and I think if you've got the page up, have a click on the loom shot because it's the loom
Yes.
ceramic bezel as well. It's like that when it's dark and it's loomed up, the dial changes again to just be that kind of like dark to light gradient, but it takes that dark brown out of it. Look really cool.
C3 Super Luminova. Yeah, it looks good. Definitely looks good. Yeah, nice one. Nice pick. I like it.
And again, their Instagram's done really well if you've not been on there before. Yeah, their marketing's great, and the other dial variants in this range are pretty
Good too.
Watermelon
All right.
variant there that's excellent.
I'll definitely have to check that out. And I guess on that note, I'll do my 3-watch collection for the winner next episode.
And last one, it comes in what I thought was a coffee cup, which would make sense, the Irish coffee nod, but it looks like a shaker kind of cup.
That's
I
where
don't know.
the Irish. That's where the Irish comes in.
Oh, that's what it is. You're Irish. I got it.
Yes.
Kind of
it's all
another cool
working.
nod. You're not just getting a box in the mail, like you're actually getting something unique to that company and that brand, which is kind of cool. It'd be cool if the cup was patinaed and messed up like the watch is the thing, like the brand. But again, something different.
Maybe they need to get bronze next time. Get them to.
Bronze would be an absolute hit for them because it does half the work for you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, sorry to cut you off there before, but yeah, awesome. Fantastic. We've come to the end of our episode now. So, we're going to pop all the stuff in the show notes and, follow us in our Instagrams. So until next week, we'll see you then.
Thank you for joining us on Overtime, the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
You can find us on our Instagrams at Overtime the Podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, and at Horology Capture.
We appreciate your support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please hit us up. We would love to hear from you.
Until next time.